This week in the European Parliament, I'm hosting a conference and exhibition on virtual currencies and blockchain technology. And I'm going to walk over now to Max Rangeley from the Cobden Centre to explain why we've put together this conference, and he's one of the organisers. Max, tell me about blockchain technology, tell me about virtual currencies. For a layman, what does it mean?
So blockchain technology essentially started with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a currency network that allows people to exchange coins peer-to-peer. So there's no need for a central bank or any kind of banks. People have then taken that concept of the blockchain and applied this to other areas. So there are already stock markets looking at using this technology and even registering diamonds, intellectual property and bonds as well. So this is something that is going to fundamentally change the global economy over the next few years, essentially shift everything in the direction of decentralization and peer-to-peer rather than a planned economy with central banks and banks.
And blockchain is not a currency itself, it's a sort of list of transactions. What is it? What's
That's
blockchain?
Right. In a sense, it's more of a protocol. So it's the technology that underpins Bitcoin. And really using that protocol, it's similar to TCP/IP for internet, but that protocol people are now finding can be applied to all of these other areas. So the protocol is really the key in this.
Well, let's go and find some experts in this area to have a quick chat with. I'm joined here now by Steve Wilson by the European Cybercrime Centre and also Patrick Merck from the Berkman Centre from Harvard University. Steve, tell me a bit about, this offers opportunities, but people also worry about potential threats and potential dangers. Tell me about your perspective on this.
Yeah, there's a significant threat there just now, Syed. We see most cyber criminals are utilising this to actually hide their activities online, use this in respect of cyber attacks, potentially child protection issues, and they use it to conceal their identities. One of the big challenges we have in law enforcement just now is understanding this. How can we tackle it? And I really welcome this conference today to actually bring industry, academia, government and law enforcement together to tackle this.
One of the concerns is anonymity. Now, lots of people like the anonymity, actually for perfectly legitimate reasons.
Yes.
But also, of course, it gives some sort of cover to criminals. How do we get that right balance, do you think?
I think that's where we actually bring the industry together with law enforcement to say, what do we want? We want to create a safe environment for the people of Europe to actually deal with this technology, and that's how we can try to design this. We're at the early stages of the development of this technology. We are in a position to actually influence its future.
Patrick, when you were speaking earlier on the panel, you were talking a lot about some of the challenges of definitions to start with, but also many of the issues that people are concerned about and some of the opportunities. Why don't you tell me a bit about your perspective and what you've been adding to the conversations today?
Yeah, and thank you for having me, and thank you for organizing this. This has really been a great event. For me, when I think about the opportunity here, it's about creating greater transparency in all of our financial markets and our property systems. And not just transparency so that we can see who owns what at any given time, but greater access and greater openness to the system as well. With greater transparency comes the opportunity for greater access. And as we move to these more digital platforms for finance and for property rights, we have this opportunity to include more people in the overall wealth creation for society.
You spoke a lot about transparency, and of course many people will welcome that, particularly if it stops others committing fraud, as it were. But are there any concerns over privacy issues when we talk about transparency, or are we still very much at the early stages?
We are in the very early stages, but it's important now at the early stages to make sure that we do strike the right balance between transparency and personal privacy. So it's one thing to say that there's market transparency so that we can see who actually owns what asset, which became very critical in the 2008 crisis, just understanding who actually owned what at any given point in time, but at the same time being able to respect people's personal privacy and their financial lives.
Well, I found the session so far very instructive and actually, very exciting in many ways, the opportunities that blockchain technology and virtual currencies offer. But at the same time, we know as legislators, and many of the experts here today know, that we've got to address many of those concerns. Watch this space. It's going to be a very exciting development, and we look forward to many more discussions in years to come. Thank you.